see each other for the first time in a long time, obviously at the Cattle Barons Ball. That was a great moment, and we have a clip, and I'd love to run that if we could see it. I could still see the chemistry. Here it is. How do you like that? Let's check this out.
You won, honey, and I couldn't be happier.
Wait.
If you ask me, you'd make a hell of a governor. And if I do say so, you are still the prettiest girl at the ball.
Right? See? It's not just me, it even gets you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the same without that singing in the background.
Remember your flat
A little
scene,
bit
right?
What was
No,
it like?
but-
What was it like shooting a scene
But
with Larry?
I
like that?
love, because we weren't together in the pilot.
Yeah.
We were together in the next, in the next show.
Okay.
And I looked forward to it because there's some kind of chemistry. I have no idea where it came from. It started in 1978. When he told me I did a terrible job on a show, he said you were terrible, and I went after him. And that's when Sue Ellen and J.R. Sort of came to life. That's when they were born.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It took that to kind of inspire you to make sure you guys connected in that
he
way?
told me. Yeah, I think it was. I think. Look at that little face up there. You know, that little charming face. And he told me I was terrible. And we were in his converted bread truck on the way home from a scene at South Fork. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. He said, "Well, Miss Gray, you were terrible in that scene." And I just looked at him and went after him. I just said, "How dare you talk to me like that?" Blah, blah, blah. And I went off on him, and he said, "Well, you're..." And at 1 o'clock in the morning, the two of us were arguing. You know, it's terrible.
But
how it started.
I love that. And as a fan of the original show, for me, like seeing moments like that and seeing yourself, Patrick, on screen, it was as if I didn't miss a beat. You know, like Cynthia, it must have been difficult to kind of navigate that job as a writer to be able to be true to the original series, right? For original fans to still connect and feel like they're connected, as well as being able to draw in the new fans. And you know, for instance, I watched with my kids, and they were instantly hooked. I mean, you know, both myself and my kid. That must have been a little bit difficult.
Yes, but I knew there had to be that balance between the old and the new, because it couldn't just be, bringing back the characters from the old show, and it certainly couldn't be just the new characters. I mean, they had to be grounded, and it was so important that the three of them be in it to ground the show, and that it would feel authentic to the original fans. And I have to tell you about those lines that he says there. I remember, I think it was Robert Rovner, who's one of our writers, first day in the room. He says the first time that J.R. and Sue Ellen see each other, and we didn't even know what scene it would be, he pitched those lines. And we all got misty-eyed in the room because, and then, the writer's assistant immediately wrote it down. And by the time we got to this outline, pull up those lines, and then they got used.
It fit right in.
That's so
it's see, that's what people at home have no idea. That's a fantastic story. And another thing that's changed, obviously, over the time is the character, or the city itself. Dallas itself has changed so much, and Michael, as one of the directors on the show, I mean, obviously the show shot in some pretty cool Dallas locations, Cowboy Stadium, among others. So what's it like being able to shoot on location, and how did the changing city of Dallas sort of play into how you incorporated it into the show?
Well, it really hit us like a big smack in the face when we first went to Dallas to scout, when we were trying to figure out, we really wanted to shoot the whole show in Dallas. But we had to make sure that we could afford to be there, and trying to make sense out of it all. And when we got to Dallas and we looked at that skyline and the dynamic architecture and just all these iconic places, and Dallas is so vibrant. It's so now. It's so cosmopolitan, and we wanted to go grab all those different places. So it's kind of a big feast for filmmakers. You just go to all these different places. And you don't have to hide. When the series was originally shot, it was shot 85% you guys in California, and then you'd go in the hot summer and shoot exteriors at South Fork. Right?
Yeah. 110 degrees.
Yeah. We've adjusted that schedule too. But by going there, when they did the show originally, you kind of had to hide, and you couldn't, and back then you had just the standard def television, which was just a box, and you couldn't see much. And now everybody's got these big screen, high definition televisions that really suggest some scope and some size. And so, you know, you want to go take advantage of this gorgeous city. And so we took advantage of all these different places we could shoot. That scene that we just showed the clip of was actually at American Airlines Arena where the Dallas Mavericks play. And that's where we did the Cattle Barons Ball. And we were Cowboys.
And if you look at the lamps, you will see little basketballs and little hockey sticks. If you look carefully.
All right, so now, oh, look who it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Henderson has made it.
Sorry I'm late.
Hey, man. Welcome. Thanks for making the
join us.
effort. Thanks for making the effort. Yeah, absolutely. That LA traffic and airport.
Yeah, on the way here, by the way,
go ahead.
it felt like the Truman Show. You know when he's trying to get escape his world, and they're like brush fire and cars and everything. There was 2 accidents. It was nuts to get here, and I'm here. I'm glad I was able to make it.
You thought maybe like people were throwing these things in front of you to
am
slow
I
you
not
down?
supposed to go to this thing?
People don't want me there?
What's going on?
This is like
My
TNT
flight was an
keeping
hour and
me?
a half late, so it was but I'm here, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, well, since you showed up, and I know we've got to get to some fan questions because I'm taking too much of your time, but we're talking about a lot of the great scenes and the stories in this first 2-hour premiere, and one of the ones that stands out is just right out of the gate. The opening scene when you guys strike oil at South Fork between yourself and Elena, and just, you know, we got a clip of that. I'd love to show that. Are we going? Here we go. Let's check out the clip.
I'm getting a reading, John.
Pull the drill! Pull it now!
How we looking, boys? Huh? Let's go, let's go! Oh, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on.
He's loaded 10,000 barrels, John!
It's a lot of oil.
Yeah.
Such a great. What was that like? Yeah, let's hear it. Come on, that was a great way to start the show, start the series. What was that like to shoot?
That day, you know, Jordan and I both were like, okay, what is this really going to be like? You know, because the script is just like, it's such, you know, larger than life. So they asked us, they'd filmed a kind of a test run at the explosion of the oil, and they asked us if we wanted to see it. And we were both like, we'd just rather, let's just surprise us. I'd rather have a genuine reaction.
Wow.
So they said, well, you might have to do touch-ups, you might get wet, but, you know, we'll see. I had no clue it was going to be so much, and I ran in there to turn the thing off, and it just, I couldn't breathe. I was inhaling like this, what was supposed to be water and food coloring.
Oh, is that what it was?
It tasted like.
It was vegetable oil.
Is that what it was? I thought it
Yeah.
tasted like olive oil that had been sitting around for years. That's what it was.
It was.
It
what
probably
that?
was.
It was vegetable oil
with coloring, yeah.
That's
Oops,
lovely.
I've been tweeting water with food coloring.
That,
Now you have it.
That's lovely. That is
Yeah, it was
fantastic.
a really cool day. Awesome, awesome day.
Oh man! All right. And by the way, just real quickly before we go to Twitter questions, Michael, you directed that scene. Was that one take? I mean, how does?
Well, what was really, you know, you can really get that right once when they go get wet. I mean, we could go spend an hour cleaning them up and doing it again, but we did everything up to it where they stayed dry, and then I said, okay, here we go, we're going to blow this thing, and then that was one big take. We did a couple of pickups afterwards once they were wet, but it was one big take, and they were amazing and nailed it on the first take.
Awesome. I'm going right. I'm getting the time here. We got to go right into some Twitter questions right from the fans. This is M. McMinnis, and he wants to know, can you give us any hints about what will be happening later in the season?
I can.
No. Any teases? Any way to kind of like give us a? I know you can't give away
No
too
one
much.
is what they seem, and
That's a
when
good
you
one.
think we're moving right, we're really moving left. I don't know.
That was good. Yeah, from the head writer. That's a good answer. All right, S. Kearney, and it looks like this might be to more Patrick and Linda. Have you learned anything new about each other filming the new show?
About each other.
Yeah, like have you guys learned anything about each other new since? I think that's what she's asking.
Yeah, I can say that there's always a level of something that she can do and Larry can do that always surprises me on camera to this day. Watching the scene that we showed earlier when Larry says you're the prettiest girl at the ball, to me, the pivotal moment in that was her saying that quiet little, wait, just that one little thing. And I know that that's what got Larry to do what he did the way he did it. It wasn't that he was planning on how he was going to do it. It was something that surprised him, and just that thing that she said, wait. And it happens all the time between the three of us. So I'm constantly surprised in a pleasant way when I think I know every trick in Hagman's book, you know, and he's like Felix the cat, you know, he just like goes, okay, here's this old chestnut I'm going to throw at you. But he'll do something new and different that just thrills you to the bone.
Well, my part from Patrick is that I feel they have nailed it so strongly with Patrick that this is actually showing the depth of his talent. I don't think he's been given scripts like this before, where it really shows the depth of who he is and what his ability is.
Mr. Duffy here is an amazing human being, and I don't think the Bobby Ewing we knew in the old show really represents who he is. And Mike and I were both so impressed when we met him that we just said, let's just try to get that out of him, because there's so much more to him than the Bobby Ewing of
There's an inherent problem when you're 63 years old and you're named Bobby. It just right then and there, you're swimming upstream from that minute on.
Those are some very nice words.
Yes.
T. Kelly, this is our last. We have time for one more Twitter question, then we're going to have a couple audience questions. So prepare yourselves. Okay, good. T. Keller, to any of the cast, what was your favorite scene to film? Okay, go ahead.
Ladies.
Julie.
Oh.
Pressure.
I don't know. Honestly, I think it would have to be that first dinner scene that we all had at the pilot. No, because it was the first time we all were together. Because I rarely had any scenes with Linda, and I had no scene. I had like one scene with Josh, and so to me it was like it was really cool to just be everybody together and to see how everybody's energies kind of just I don't know, like interacted with each other.
Yeah, it was the first time to really test the chemistry.
Yeah,
You know,
it was great.
Around the dinner table.
That was an all day scene.
Took all day.
That's great. Yes, those big scenes can take some time. Yeah. I gather. Okay, audience questions. Who's got one? Go ahead. Go ahead. Stand up for me. Sure.
Hi, I'm Vicki. Patrick, this is for you. I'm one of the original fans that you were speaking of earlier, and I'd like to know if there are any upcoming storylines that you'd like to see in this new Dallas that wasn't maybe in the original Dallas series.
Well, I think the answer that was given just a second ago about, especially for Larry and Linda and myself, you know, we're 32 years older than we were when we started the show, you know, and in essence, the interesting thing is, Josh turned 30 when we were filming the series this time. I turned 30 on the pilot of Dallas. So, you know, here it is 30-some years later, and the three of us have really learned whatever we've learned through time, through osmosis, through patience. And what I like to see and what I really am enjoying doing now as an actor is playing somebody my age and all that that represents. So, you know, as long as Cynthia and the writing group continues to explore what a mature Robert James Ewing is like, then those are the things I'm going to truly enjoy doing.
Do we need to call you Robert?
Not on your life. No.
No. We have
But if you were, but a little piece of trivia, you know, my name is Robert James Ewing, which means I'm R.J. Ewing. Just so you know. Just a little fan trivia out there.
By the way, that took me a second. I was like, what's everybody going on about? I don't get it. Okay, we have time for one more audience question. Go ahead. Yes, please. Stand up, but watch the camera above you.
Mike Robin, how much have you tried to preserve the original look and feel of Dallas? And what did you decide to do differently this time around?
Well, one of the things that was a hallmark of the old show was this great Dallas close-up. I mean, you had to have this. You had to make sure that you were really in a good spot, with the camera straight on, so you could get right inside the soul of that character. And so we made sure we did that, but then we put it against, you know, with this big